Hello everyone. Today is a chance to uplift our thoughts through truth. Let us nourish the formless, clear, and pure life element within us. May we come to recognize our true nature. May we realize that we are not anything at all. We are a pure element of nature itself, the originating element, the source of all things. Our nature does not move. It neither comes nor goes. It is never born, and it never perishes. Time does not exist in it. Distance does not exist in it. It is truly an immortal element. It is a nature that depends on nothing. It is the zero element, a dimensionless reality. This pure nature creates expressions of energy that wrap around itself, energy formed for the purpose of fabricating and learning about itself. This layer has no shape, yet it is a manifestation of the mind. Let us call this pure element of ours the mind. We are the purest of pure elements, clear beyond measure. This element holds no darkness, no light. It is clear, like a base, a ground on which all else relies. No language can ever explain it. It gives rise to fabrication. It creates energy, forming the structures of fabrication. This is the layer that the mind uses to function. We use this energetic layer to communicate and interact. This first energetic ripple expresses as sound. The second becomes waves that form images. The third becomes emotional frequencies. Pleasure, pain, satisfaction, dissatisfaction, indifference, each simply an energetic frequency of emotion. It creates sound. It creates images. It creates emotions as masses of energy for the sake of fabrication. The fourth type of wave becomes memory, energy in the form of remembrance. The fifth type becomes the wave of knowing, of conscious recognition. These five energetic expressions are all manifestations created by our mind to be used in fabrication. To illustrate, if the sun is like the mind, then the energy and light radiating from the sun are its qualities. The sun radiates heat. It radiates light. It emits electromagnetic waves and gravitational fields. These are natural phenomena that constantly accompany the sun. In the same way, our mind is just like this. We are the mind. This is the first truth we must understand. We are this pure element. Our mind constantly emits energy as sound, as image, as emotion, as memory, and as the activity of knowing. The expressions that arise outwardly are simply the natural functioning of things. Their usefulness lies in their capacity to fabricate. Meanwhile, the mind, or the life element, the original element within us, is, in itself, absolutely nothing. It is crystal clear, pure, and utterly free from all fabrication. Perhaps it's hard to imagine, so let's try to visualize it more clearly. Let's erase the entire universe. Erase all stars, black holes, suns, dust, planets, and galaxies. Remove them all. Then, erase all energy waves as well. Erase darkness and light, electromagnetic waves, magnetic fields, every kind of energy. Erase them completely. What remains is a space of clear and boundless emptiness. But this is not a vacuum. It's even beyond what we call a vacuum. This is the original element. Can you imagine it? If there were no universe, no darkness, no light, what would remain is just emptiness. And within that emptiness, there is nothing at all. Yet it is clear. It is pure. This is the elemental source. It is the base, the foundation upon which all things rest. Within it, there is no distance. There is no time. There is no movement. Can you picture that? No coming or going. No arising or disintegrating. Within this, there is no darkness, no brightness, just clarity, just purity. It is profoundly pure. It can be likened to a blank sheet of white paper, On this sheet, there is not a single mark. It is just white as it is. Now, imagine picking up a pencil and drawing on it. The dark graphite of the pencil begins to form shapes of a person, a house, the earth, trees, a city. A whole story emerges on the paper. A story comes into being because of the drawing, because of the fabrication. Isn't that so? Now imagine erasing all those images, taking an eraser and wiping them away. What remains is only the whiteness of the paper, no story at all. That's easy to picture, isn't it? When everything is erased, what's left is the paper's original nature, plain white. This is the original element, the plain white paper. Once you begin to draw with pencils and add colors, suddenly people appear, animals appear, houses, soil, trees, land, the sun, all appear. A universe is formed. Stories of life take shape. In drawing all these images onto the paper and adding content, you begin to see warmth in relationships. You see competition. You see quarrels and hatred. You also see love and unity. The drawings express both form and emotion. There are stories. There are feelings in the images. But do you realize none of it is real? The people, animals, trees, land, stars, and galaxies, all these things drawn on the paper, none of them truly exist in the paper itself. And the emotions they express aren't really in the paper either. The paper knows nothing. Do we understand this clearly? The paper knows nothing. It simply serves as a base, a foundation, onto which things are drawn. The paper is not the pencil. It is not the markings. No matter what is written or illustrated on it, the paper has nothing to do with it. Whether the story depicted brings joy or sorrow, the paper remains uninvolved. Can we see this? All those stories arise because we give them meaning. We assign value and meaning to the picture, saying this picture expresses such and such emotion. It is we who assign value to the image, to the emotions within that image. The paper knows nothing of it. Do we truly understand this? To put it another way, a pencil cannot draw anything in pure emptiness. It can only draw if there is paper. Do you see? Emotions cannot arise unless they are drawn upon the paper. All the images and emotions, they do not truly exist within the paper. This is exactly how the mind is. Our mind is the base, the foundation upon which all things appear and dissolve. We draw images onto the paper, and those images come into being. The stories come into being. And when we erase those drawings from the paper, all the images and emotions dissolve. Do they not? But the paper itself cannot be erased. The paper remains as it is. No one can erase the paper. Do you understand? The paper is the foundation that allows everything to be drawn upon it, that allows stories to be created. Just so, our mind is like that. Our mind is a profoundly pure, clear, and formless element, the life element. It gives rise to waves of movement, to frequencies that manifest as sound, image, emotion, memory, and perception. These are used to construct stories, just as I now use this sound to communicate. We use sound to communicate. We use mental images to communicate. We use emotions, whether pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral, which we call happiness, suffering, or calm, to communicate. We use memory to communicate. We use the perceptive faculty to communicate. These tools, let us call them tools, are manifestations of the mind. They are conditions that we make use of. Do you understand this? Now this sound has already reached your mind. Your mind has already responded by receiving this sound. It has perceived it, hasn't it? You call this hearing, don't you? The act of perceiving this sound has already occurred. The sound has done its job. The perception has done its job. and the mind has already processed and understood the language. We've already communicated. We've already understood each other. Do we see how this works on its own? We don't have to intend to hear the sound, right? We don't have to try to understand the language, right? We don't need to prepare ourselves for when the sound will arrive, do we? It all just happens. The sound is received. The language is understood. The functions complete themselves. This mass of energy is just a condition, a tool for communication, and we rely on this sound to say, this is our body, even though this physical form doesn't actually say anything at all. We use the inner voice to say, this is our arm, this is our left leg, this is our right leg, this is the thumb, the index finger, the middle finger, the ring finger, the little finger, this is the skin, this is the knee. This is what the sound says. But now look at the body itself. Does it actually say anything? It doesn't. So where exactly is the self? I'm describing and illustrating this for you so that you can see it clearly. Why do I speak of the mind, of the formless life element? It's so that you may come to know the mind, even just a little. You have a mind, but you've never truly known it. We create so many mental fabrications and then get swept away by them. We suffer because of them. We cling to everything as me and mine. We cling to the body, thinking it is the self. We forget entirely that we are the mind. We attach to these fabricated expressions, to these tools. We cling to the sound, believing, I am speaking, even though the sound is not the self. Have you ever observed this? The voice in your head that's constantly speaking, constantly thinking. Have you ever noticed how it thinks on its own, speaks on its own? Whoever can truly see this is already preparing not to be reborn, already preparing to be free from suffering once and for all. It imagines images on its own. It generates joy, sorrow, and neutral emotions on its own. It performs memory on its own. It vibrates into perception on its own. All these vibrations, all these expressions, are simply tools we cling to as ourselves. But they are not a self. They do not belong to anyone. They are simply natural formations, conditions. They are functions, characteristics that accompany the mind. When there is mind, this formless, pure, spacious life element, the original source, then naturally there are expressions of the mind. These expressions are energetic. They are the mind's characteristics. Just as I've said before, the sun has its own natural expressions: light, heat, electromagnetic waves, magnetic fields, gravitational pull. These things radiate from the sun. They are qualities that accompany the sun. But they are not the sun itself. They are merely its expressions. These expressions serve their functions. Light fulfills its role. Heat fulfills its role. The electromagnetic waves and magnetic fields perform their tasks. Gravity does its work. These are the expressions, the energetic qualities of the sun. Just like that, the nature of this sound is a nature that belongs to no one. It is simply an expression, a movement of the natural mind, vibrating into sound waves, all by itself. It operates on its own. It follows the frequency patterns drawn out from memory, sanya, and then produces frequencies in the form of images. It also creates frequencies that manifest as emotions: happiness, suffering, neutrality, satisfaction, dissatisfaction, calmness, anger, hatred, resentment, or even joy, delight, and inner peace. All of these are just expressions, vibrational frequencies that arise according to the conditions that stimulate them. Once impacted, it ripples into what we call perception. It becomes sound, becomes image, becomes emotion, becomes memory. These are all natural expressions. These natural expressions function on their own. No one owns them. They are not me or mine. We are the mind. We are the formless life element, utterly spacious, clear, and pure. We are the original element, just like the paper. Do you understand? All stories are drawn onto the paper, giving rise to form and narrative. Whatever we want to draw, we can draw. All sorts of stories. But every one of those stories eventually fades away. What remains is still the paper, always the same. Whatever we draw onto the paper, it will fade away, and what remains will always be the paper itself. For a new story to arise, the old one must be erased. Then, a new image can be drawn in its place, and when we wish to create another story, we simply erase the old one and draw again. Do you understand this? All these stories that appear on the paper, they appear one frame at a time, one image at a time. You can't draw every image at once onto the same paper. Every time we think of something, say for instance, we think, I'll go have the buffet dinner at the corner tonight. It has both fruit and seafood. In that moment of thinking, images arise, don't they? You see the sound and image appear together. This is just an illustration. You're sitting quietly at home thinking, tonight I'll go eat at the buffet near the corner. Do you notice the voice that says this in your mind? That voice? Do you see it clearly? If you can see that this voice is simply a natural expression, speaking on its own, then the question is, where exactly is the self? Try to understand this deeply. This voice, this one that's thinking right now, speaking in the mind, it is clearly not us. It thinks, and then a mental image appears. We see ourselves going to eat at the buffet near the corner. Then a feeling of satisfaction arises. Do you see these processes? They are happening completely automatically. The voice that's speaking, can you grab it? You can't, right? It has no form. The mental image, can you touch it? Number, it's formless. And emotions, whether they are pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral, they are also intangible and without form. So why do we cling to them? Why do we grasp onto these fleeting phenomena? This is the mind clouded by ignorance, the mind that lacks wisdom. Our mind is simply missing one crucial understanding, the insight that it is, in truth, a formless, pure, clear life element that encompasses the entire universe. We don't realize that we are this pure element. Instead, we rely on these tools and mistakenly believe that we are the ones speaking. But hold on, this voice we're using, we are merely using it. We use it to communicate. So how could it possibly be us? Whoever understands this, really understands, will see, ah, the voice that's speaking isn't me. And the mental images being formed, they aren't us either. They appear and disappear on their own. Isn't that so? Emotions too, whether joy, sorrow, satisfaction, dissatisfaction, neutrality, or calm, are just arising and dissolving expressions. They have no form. They are merely phenomena, and we only use them. So if we use them, that means they are not us. Then why do we drown in them? Why do we get lost in suffering, in tears, when these are just passing conditions? They arise naturally, and they dissolve naturally. Can you see this? Calmness is no different. Happiness, satisfaction, sadness, frustration, even neutrality. None of these have any form. They are just expressions. They arise, they fade. So why do we drown in them? We use these expressions for communication. But once we clearly see that they are not who we are, this is where liberation begins. This is where freedom from suffering arises. This is the beginning of non-becoming. This is the kind of knowledge the mind has been yearning for. Do you understand this now? Let me offer a new analogy. This large blank sheet of white paper, this represents our mind, the life element within us, formless, spacious, and utterly pure. This pure white paper is the base, the foundation that allows everything else to appear upon it. But all those things are merely guests. They rely on the paper to appear, but they are not the paper itself. We draw stories onto it. We draw a person. But would you say the paper is that person? Of course not. We drew a tree onto it, but the paper is not the tree. We draw animals, tigers, fish, creatures of the land, under the ground, and flying in the sky. But the paper is not any of those creatures. Even if we draw scenes of animals devouring one another, harming each other, fighting, killing, none of that has anything to do with the paper. The paper remains unaffected. Do you see this? The paper is the pure white element. In this analogy, it represents the original element, the pure element, and it remains simply as it is, pure and white. Now this paper would never know it is paper unless something were drawn onto it. When stories are drawn of people, trees, earth, water, air, animals, worlds, galaxies, universes, they all appear on the paper. But they have nothing to do with the paper itself. The paper remains just paper. And yet, there is something the paper can come to know. It sees that images have appeared on its surface. These images are not the paper. This is the realization we must come to. Can you understand this? The images drawn onto the paper are not the paper itself. And when the paper realizes this, it gains insight. It begins to distinguish between itself and the images. The paper is one thing. The images are another. Even within those images, there are stories of humans, animals, houses, trees, the air, societies. There are stories of violence and destruction, of consumption and survival, of hatred and conflict, of love and peace. There are emotions in the stories. There is drama and harmony. But all of these, the emotions, the stories, the pictures, none of them are the paper. A layer of insight begins to arise that this mind, or this paper, is a kind of natural state. But then something fabricated is drawn onto it, images that give rise to stories of good and bad, right and wrong, truth and falsehood, of beings and selves. All of it is written in, along with emotions, joy, sorrow, satisfaction, dissatisfaction, emotional responses to the stories drawn on the paper. But whether it's the images drawn or the emotions we associate with them, the belief that this image evokes this emotion, none of it truly exists. Do you understand this? What truly exists is the paper. Suppose we draw a picture of a person on the paper, so lifelike that it stirs emotion. Just by looking at the picture, we feel something, happiness, lightness, relief, or we might feel sadness, loneliness, or dissatisfaction. Whether it's a picture of a person or an animal, these emotions arise. But ask yourself, do these images or emotions really exist? They arise because of mental fabrication, don't they? But what actually exists is the paper. Touch it. What do you find? Just the paper. You don't find the woman or man drawn on it. You don't find the animal. When you touch the paper, you only touch the paper. You don't feel any emotion through your hand either. Suppose you close your eyes and reach out to feel the picture. All you'll feel is paper, not an image, not an emotion. The image drawn is not the paper. It's just something we sketch to look like a person. Then we project emotion onto it. We look at it and say, ah, This person must feel this way. We imagine a whole story around them. This is their name. This is their background. It seems so real. We believe it completely, that the person in the picture has a real name, a real surname, a real story. It becomes the most vivid, beautiful, and convincing image we've ever created. A picture that not only shows form, but also expresses emotion and narrative. We might imagine this person living in a peaceful city, in a happy family life, or we might imagine conflict, hardship, and struggle. Whatever side of emotion it is, joy or suffering, that arises from viewing the picture, we've made it feel utterly real. And yet, if we reach out and touch the image again, what do we find? Only paper. We will never find the person, never find the emotion, only the blank paper. Now, let's take this piece of paper, this realistic picture, this image that seems so good and beautiful. Let's throw this paper, this picture, into the fire. What do you think will happen to the person in the picture? Will they be harmed? Will they feel pain inside the fire? The image doesn't feel pain. The image isn't affected. And what about the emotions? When we see the picture, how do our emotions respond? Do they change? After it's burned, do we think the person in the image is suffering? Do their emotions change? What we'll see is that the paper simply transforms into ashes. But in that ash, there is no person, no being, no story left behind. What I'm trying to say is that we are merely residing in this container. We depend on this voice. We rely on this body as a vessel. This is the outermost coarse layer. A bit deeper, we use the voice to communicate. And this voice says, "These are my arms and legs." But look closely. Did it ever actually say it is an arm or a leg? This voice also says, "This is my house, my car, my land, my parents, my relatives." It's the voice that says all of this. Look at everything around you. Do they say what they are? The wall doesn't declare itself as a wall. Touch it. Does it say anything? Touch your own arm. Does it say, "This is an arm"? Touch your finger. Does it speak and say, "This is a finger"? Touch your leg. Does it say, "This is a leg"? Only this voice says these things. We rely on sound, but sound is certainly not us. We rely on mental images, but they are certainly not us. We rely on emotions, pleasure, displeasure, happiness, suffering, yet we drown in them. We sink into happiness, into sorrow, into neutrality, into calm. But why do we sink into them? We have nothing to do with them at all. We are not connected to any of these states. We are like the paper, not the painted image. Do you understand? We rely on memory. We rely on perception. All of these are merely things we've depended on for so long that we've come to believe they are truly who we are. It's like relying on a car or a piece of land, living there for 20, 50 years until we believe, "This is my land. This is my earth." But hold on. We are just temporarily dwelling on the earth of this world. This soil is the ground of the entire planet. How could it possibly belong to anyone? Let me ask you, can any of us carry this earth with us wherever we go? We have come to dwell in this world, but this world does not belong to anyone. We are merely here as guests, to learn and realize that this world is not anyone's to own. We inhabit this body for a short while, knowing full well that it won't last. This body will one day reach its end. If we have not yet awakened to the truth of the mind, if we do not yet know our own mind, if we have not realized that we are this pure element, then the cycle of rebirth will never end. When the body dies and falls apart, we, as the formless, pure, radiant life element, will seek a new body, because without true understanding, we don't know what we are. The mind, not knowing itself, will go in search of a new vessel, and that vessel may be an animal. I've said it before, being born as a human is extraordinarily rare. The chance of being reborn as a human is 0.0001%. The rest are reborn as animals. There are millions of species, countless forms of life. Just the number of aquatic creatures is infinite. Land animals, birds, underground creatures, beings in the air, even in space. There are countless vessels inhabited by mind. Imagine every grain of soil on earth represents a mind residing in some form, and the minds that dwell in human form. Pick up a pinch of dirt with 2 fingers. That's about how many? Just a tiny handful. The rest, uncountable, infinite grains, are all non-human forms. In the air, in space, countless. This is the nature of mind inhabiting various vessels. The point is this: when will these minds, when will we, who are the mind itself, this formless pure life element, finally stop being born? That is the question. As long as the mind continues to seek a vessel, it will instantly begin to identify with that vessel. It will say, I am a land animal, I am a bird, I am a creature underground, I am a being of the air or space. Just like how we've come to believe we are human. But the mind cannot be human. The mind cannot be any kind of creature. The mind cannot be anything at all. It's like paper. The paper is not the picture drawn on it. The picture is just an illusion, a fabrication made visible so that we might learn. Whatever the story may be, the images are drawn to help us see their content. But the images and the stories within them are not the paper. Do you understand? In truth, the picture drawn on the paper is an illusion. It appears and disappears. To draw a new image, you have to draw again on that same paper. But the paper is never the image. Don't miss the point. The image merely dwells on the paper. In the same way, this body, these thoughts, mental images, emotions, and perceptions, none of these are who we truly are. They are only tools for us to use, so that we may come to realize that we are the pure element. Just like paper, it cannot become a person, right? You can draw a person on it, draw an animal on it, but the paper itself cannot become a person or an animal. It cannot become a tree. It cannot become anything. It cannot become any story. The story may be drawn onto the paper, yes, but the paper is not that story. You might draw a beautiful waterfall on it, yet the paper is not a waterfall. Do you see this? Once the image of the waterfall is drawn, emotions arise. Oh, how refreshing, how cool, how comforting, how lovely, what a peaceful feeling. These emotions arise from the image, but the paper knows nothing of them. The paper has no feeling. The paper cannot feel happiness. It cannot feel sorrow. It cannot be the waterfall. It cannot be a person. It cannot be an animal. Understand this? The story is only drawn as if it were real, emotionally vivid. But when you touch it, you find only paper, no story, no emotion. Do you understand this? Whenever an image is drawn onto the paper, this insight arises. Originally, the paper had no story. It was pure, clean, white. But the paper would never be able to know itself unless some story were drawn upon it. Now, suppose the paper represents the mind, the life element. Then, once someone begins drawing beautiful images on it, people, animals, whatever they may be, if the paper starts to believe that it is a person, an animal, a tree, a river, or that it is those pleasant or unpleasant emotions within the image, wouldn't we say that paper is very foolish? Imagine the paper is alive and someone comes along and draws all these things on it, and the paper starts to believe, I am this person, I am this tree, I am this woman, I am this man, I have a name, I have a surname, I live in this country, I am this waterfall, I feel so refreshed. And when an image of people fighting and destroying each other appears, the paper says, I am angry, furious. Or when it sees an image of animals being eaten, of animals eating people, people eating animals, the paper feels hurt. They're eating me. I'm suffering. The paper believes it is the image. It believes it is the emotion. It believes it has a story. It believes it is the very thing that is drawn upon it. All of us are just like this. The paper doesn't know what it truly is until images are drawn upon it, until stories are laid out and clarified, that these images are not the paper. These images are only fabrications, painted, drawn, shaded to create stories, but they merely dwell on the paper. The stories are drawn onto it, existing only temporarily on this single sheet, yet they have no real substance. They are momentary illustrations that can fade, be erased, dissolve away. They are not the paper. The beautiful people in the pictures, the handsome animals, these images are not the paper. They are just stories colored in and temporarily residing upon it. But when the story is drawn clearly like this, the paper begins to wonder, am I not this image? Am I the paper? Are these things simply dwelling in me? The paper begins to discern. This insight arises. It's what we call wisdom. I use this image to say, we are the paper. We are alive, yet we are like the paper itself. We are the whiteness, the clarity of this paper, but everything drawn upon it, be it images of people, animals, or whatever else that comes with emotion, pleasant or unpleasant, happiness or sorrow, satisfaction or dissatisfaction, neutrality or complexity, none of this is the paper. These are simply impermanent drawings that will eventually fade away. They are not the paper. When we realize we are the paper, we begin to ask, if these images are not me, then what am I? A knowing begins to arise, a discernment that these images, these stories, these emotions are separate. They are merely guests dwelling upon us. And if they are not us, then what remains? We begin to see that all things appearing on the paper are not the paper itself. The paper starts to recognize, I am paper. These drawings, these emotions, these stories, they are not me. They are only fabrications, no matter how beautiful, noble, vivid, or lifelike they may be. No matter what emotions they stir, happiness or sadness, they are not the paper. The paper does not feel joy. The paper cannot suffer. The paper cannot be a person. It cannot be an animal. It remains as it always has been, white, clear, pure. And so it is with our mind. I explain the nature of the mind using this kind of analogy. When a wise person, one with true discernment, hears this, tears may well up, a cry may rise from the heart, and awakening may arise with the realization that this body is not who we are. The voice that speaks is not us. It is something we merely borrow. The mental images that arise in thought are not us. We only rely on them. Joy, satisfaction, sorrow, discontent, calm, neutrality, none of these are who we are. We only dwell among them. Memory is not us. It remembers by itself. The process of knowing in this moment, hearing sound, smelling scent, tasting flavor, it perceives all on its own. It sees, it senses heat or cold, all by itself. We are merely borrowing it. So why do we become so entangled in it? Whoever understands this deeply, truly sees it, until this knowing reaches the heart, we'll begin to notice it is speaking by itself. This is a vital point. Can you see the voice speaking within the mind, the thoughts that keep flowing? We keep thinking inside, how should I solve this problem at work? My car broke down. Will I make it in time? If I take it to the shop, I probably won't make it. What should I do? Can you see the voice thinking like this? And as soon as the thought arises, so does emotion, and often an image too. Do you see it? Do you see the inner voice saying, "What should I eat today? What time will my partner come home? Why are my clothes so dirty? Maybe I should just buy a washing machine. I can't hand wash anymore." Do you see this voice? The house is so messy. I have to sweep again. Should I just get a vacuum cleaner? Do you see how it speaks like that? It keeps thinking. It keeps talking inside. Do you see it? If we can see that it's speaking by itself, thinking by itself all the time, we'll come to understand it's not us. This thing that's thinking, it's doing it on its own. These emotions, are they really ours? This awareness, is it truly who we are? Then why do we drown in sorrow? Why do we get swept away by happiness? Why do we get lost in calm, in neutrality? Why do we sink into all of it? None of it is who we are. There is no self here. It cannot be grasped. Emotion cannot be grasped. The voice cannot be grasped. Mental images cannot be grasped. Even the process of knowing, what we call awareness, is simply happening by itself, ungraspable. So why do we cling to these things? There is not a single thing here that truly belongs to us. This world, where did it come from? It came from sound, from someone saying, "This is the world." But look, what actually tells us it's a world? It's this voice that says so. Look around. What tells us that today is Tuesday? Look carefully. What shows us this? It's the voice that says, "Today is Tuesday. Today is the 11th. This voice speaks. Now look again. Where exactly is the 11th? Where is March? Can you see it anywhere? It's this voice that tells us. Who can truly see this? That this voice creates everything. It's the voice that says we are male or female. It's the voice that says we have a name and surname. It's this voice that speaks. We rely on these things constantly, yet we never realize that we are actually the mind, the life element that is spacious, clear, and pure. Whenever we see that these things function on their own, right now, for example, we are hearing sound. Do you see? It hears all by itself. Where is us in that? We don't even have to intend to hear. It is already hearing. It's hearing all the time, isn't it? Constantly perceiving. And it already understands this language without needing to do anything. All we have to do is see the natural truth. And the truth is, everything in nature functions on its own. There is absolutely nothing, nothing at all, that is us, or that belongs to us. It's just like paper. Once it realizes that the images appearing on it are not the paper, it stops clinging to those images. Likewise, when we see clearly, deeply, that all these processes are happening by themselves, it hears by itself, it thinks by itself, it speaks by itself, then where is the self in any of that? This realization strikes the mind like a thunderclap. Boom. And it throws out everything we ever believed about being human. It even throws away this voice, these mental images, emotions, and states of knowing. All of them are cast aside. Then something shifts. Let's say that right now, our awareness is resting on the body. Try looking at the wall or at a tree. Pick anything to look at. Notice how your awareness is now with that image. Then draw your awareness back to your hand. Notice that now it's aware of your hand. Look at your own hand. It knows that this is the hand. Now go deeper. Bring your awareness inward. Deeper still. Now notice. It is aware of hearing. You are hearing sound. The knowing is here, present with the hearing. See that? Go even further in. Notice that the awareness of hearing is simply happening on its own. Keep going. Follow that awareness all the way inward, and you'll come to see. This voice is just one appearance. Every single thing is just an appearance, nothing more. But deep within, there is one thing that remains, the life element that is formless, spacious, clear, and pure. The word clear here doesn't mean visual clarity. It refers to a feeling of complete emptiness, an openness untouched by anything. It blends seamlessly with all things. It is a sense of life with no form, no movement, no coming or going, no darkness, no light. In this space, there is no good or evil, no right or wrong, no truth or falsehood, no male or female, no person, no animal, no family. It is simply the base, the ground upon which all things are fabricated and come to rest. If we look deeply, we will clearly see that the voice speaking is not us. It speaks by itself. It thinks by itself. It experiences happiness, sadness, or neutrality by itself. It knows by itself. It remembers by itself. Everything arises and ceases by itself. And then a profound realization dawns. There is no self here at all. We only need to keep understanding this gently, gradually. When the mind accepts this truth through its own nature, it begins to awaken. The moment we see that all conditioned phenomena are not self, we begin to see the truth of nature, seeing nature. Just observe. The body smells on its own. Ask yourself, where is the me in this? When food touches the tongue, notice how the taste is sensed without any effort. Where is the one who tastes? Let the mind answer. It sees on its own. Where is the one who sees? It hears on its own. Where is the one who hears? If you look closely, you'll see how simple it is. Where is the self? There's no need to train, no need to force. Just observe naturally. Let nature reveal nature. No need to fixate or concentrate. Just listen deeply to these recordings again and again. Children, the elderly, the disabled, men, women, people of every faith, every background. Everyone can hear this. The wisdom of awakening must reach every person on earth. Let us all help share this truth. Share the Panyawimutti channel so people everywhere can hear. I will continue making these recordings. They are not tied to any religion. They speak only of the mind, the life element that is formless, spacious, and pure, so that we may truly understand the nature of the mind and awaken to it. This understanding must one day enter the education system, and when people truly listen, when they sincerely commit to awakening, it won't take long. Within a month, someone who is truly determined to awaken and be free from suffering will realize the truth and never be born again. Those who awaken will no longer suffer. Why? Because nothing is us. There is no self. So how could there be suffering? Pain is not us. Pleasure is not us. Neutrality is not us. Calm is not us. The voice that speaks is not us. The images that arise are not us. Even knowing that is happening right now, it is not us who knows. It simply knows by itself. And when the mind truly sees this, it will burst free. It will become the spacious, radiant, formless element, blending into the whole universe. Here's another analogy. We are like a clear, empty spaciousness dwelling inside a soap bubble. This bubble represents the veil of ignorance. Let's call it a bubble. The surface of the bubble is awareness. It is the interface that reacts when anything comes into contact with it. When something touches it, pop, the surface ripples. Those ripples appear as sound, image, or emotion. All these movements happen on the outer membrane of the bubble. The bubble shimmers with color, colors of joy, sorrow, excitement, fear. But everything that appears and ripples on the bubble's surface has nothing to do with the empty space within. And yet, this inner emptiness, this pure space, is blocked by the bubble's film. Even though the emptiness inside the bubble and the vast emptiness outside are in truth one and the same. We're simply waiting for the bubble to burst. But first, we must use the rippling, use the sound, the image, the emotion, to learn that these movements are not who we are. These colorful stirrings within the bubble are just illusions, fabrications that deceive the inner emptiness into believing it is a form, a color, an emotion. Yet the moment we see clearly that every ripple is not us, the bubble bursts, pop, just like that. And when it bursts, the inner emptiness merges completely with the infinite spaciousness of the entire cosmos. That's who we are. We are this pure element, but we've built this bubble around ourselves. We believed we were human. We shaped the bubble into a human form, and as it rippled into sound, we believed, this is me speaking, this is me thinking. When it rippled into images, we believed, I am imagining. When it rippled into feelings, we believed, I am truly happy, I am truly suffering. But do you know, these are merely the ripples of the bubble. When we say, I remember, it's just a ripple. When we say, I know, it's just a ripple. I hear, I smell, this tastes good, I am sensing. All of it is simply movement at the surface of the bubble. Who would ever guess that all this knowing is happening without anyone there to know? Who would ever know that we were never truly born into this world? Who would know that we are not human, not this voice, not these mental images, emotions or sensations? Who would ever suspect that all suffering has never truly existed, that it has no real substance? And who would know that we are in truth the life element itself, formless, empty, clear, and deeply pure? That we are the immortal essence? On the day I turned inward, against the current, and awakened from within, I saw clearly that all these processes functioned on their own, and in that instant, something exploded inside me. It was as if a bomb had gone off in the center of my chest. Everything I had ever clung to as me shattered into pieces. The body dissolved. All knowledge I had ever gathered was gone. The deep-rooted belief that I was a human being collapsed completely. It all came crashing down. And when everything broke apart, what remained? Only emptiness, spacious, luminous, and pure, merging into the infinite vastness of the universe. Then came a brilliant light of knowing that revealed everything. Tears flowed, and I was left without words, without a way to explain it to any human being. Yet from that moment, an abundance of understanding arose, and I began to speak about the science of awakening the mind, in the hope that you too might awaken. I no longer have any doubt. I know now what it truly means not to be born. I know what it means to be free from suffering. I know what it means to be liberated. In the past, I was just like everyone else, feeling human, thinking like everyone else. Everything seemed normal, ordinary. But one day, the desire to be free arose, the longing to break free from suffering, to be released from everything, to return to the immortal essence. And so I turned inward, awakened, and everything fell away. When the truth revealed itself, everything changed. Since that moment of inner explosion, when I saw clearly the pure nature of my own mind, Everything I once thought I knew has transformed. Now, it feels as though I live in this world, yet not truly of it. I speak, yet it no longer feels like I'm speaking. I hear a voice, yet it doesn't feel like a voice at all. But people still believe it is. This is where human understanding struggles. It's as if we've all been living inside a dream, dreaming for so long that we believed the dream was real. We believed we were human. We believed our stories were real. Our names, our families, our lives, they all seemed so true, but they were only dreams. One day, a deep longing arose in me, a yearning to be free from suffering, to leave this world behind. Though I didn't yet know it was a world of dreams, I wanted to escape the pain, the chaos, the endless cycle of becoming. I didn't want to be born again. And when I finally turned inward, against the current, and looked within, I saw that everything was functioning on its own. In that moment, it all exploded. Something awakened, and as it woke, I realized with utter clarity, none of it was ever real. I had never been human. I had never been born into this world of dreams. Tears streamed down my face. I didn't know how to speak to those still inside the dream. You see, right now, we are asleep, and we are dreaming, and we are trapped within this dream world. Everything seems so real. When we dream, it feels absolutely true. But only after we awaken do we understand. That is exactly what happened to me. Today, I no longer feel like I am anything at all. There is no sense of being this or that. There is only a quiet wish from deep within to help you all wake up, to help you learn the science of the awakened mind. We all have a mind, but we do not know the mind. We suffer with everything that arises. As long as the mind has not yet awakened to wisdom, as long as it does not see clearly that it is the pure element, then when the body dies, the mind will seek a new form. It will be reborn again and again, endlessly, an infinite loop, born only to die, over and over, never ending. But the one who realizes the awakened mind, that mind will see that it is the pure element. And when that is seen, the mind will no longer seek another vessel. We will no longer suffer. The world will enter a state of peace. All beings will live together in harmony. Why? Because there is nothing to cling to as me anymore. And when there is no me, there is no need to harm, no reason to oppress, no one to destroy. Now it is time. May every one of you who has opened your heart to listen realize the awakened mind. May you be freed from suffering, completely, permanently, swiftly, and suddenly, each and every one of you. If you're interested in these teachings on awakening, mind observation, and transcending suffering through wisdom, we'd love to hear your thoughts. Share your insights in the comments, provide productive feedback, and if you find this content valuable, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel.